Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to talk about where you can buy the dip. So before you decide to short any of the new highs, before you decide to buy puts in the NASDAQ or the S&P or even the Dow, which by the way, I'm not necessarily against, but we have only step one of that process in place. And what I mean by that is, step one is, did we reach the previous high? And yes, that criteria in the S&P, in the NASDAQ, and in the Dow has been satisfied. The next step is the pattern and confirmation of that reversal pattern. And actually in the S&P and the Dow, that pattern has not confirmed. So I'm still waiting. We'll talk more about the patterns in the premium video. But what I want to dive into here is, there's a lot of talk about between the window of this Thursday, where we wrap up the FANG earnings, into next Wednesday, when we have the FOMC meeting for November, where it has been widely expected, and this has been for months, that November would be the month that the Federal Reserve would officially announce the taper, the pace, the amount, and then start it in December. So we'll see if that 1-2 punch is going to be announced on November 3. And in this window, if the rollover could organize and the pattern could confirm, we're in an interesting spot. However, there are certain corners of the market that are very much ripe for a buy the dip. And energy has got to be one of those corners that I'm most excited about, because if we do get some sort of risk aversion sell-off, crude oil and oil stocks are right near the top of the list. And then so is natural gas via UNG ETF, or natural gas futures, and then XOP, which is the oil and gas explorers. So that energy corner, fantastic uptrend, and it is buy the dippable, right? So there are buy the dips, and there are uptrends that before we get too bearish, let's remember that weakness could trigger some of these opportunities. Where else? Well, financials. One of the trades we put on in the mastery and in the options room was the KRE buy, and I'm still looking for higher highs here. In fact, we just got the red propulsion dot right here, telling us that there could be a nice acceleration as the 3 has crossed through the 8 exponential, and that could be a nice little push higher. Love the financials here. XLF, KRE, both places where we can buy the dip. So before we get too bearish, and there is a scenario for it, and there are sectors that are good to short, but there are also sectors, including the XLY, led by, of course, a brand new parabolic Tesla. And let's not count Home Depot. Let's give Home Depot some credit. Let's not count it out either. We've got some very good strength in 2 out of the top 3 names here. XLY would be another candidate for a buy the dip. So before we get too wrapped up in some sort of, market getting crushed narrative, right? Before we think that this market's just, Lucy pulling the football out from in front of Charlie Brown, there are some places where weakness can be capitalized on. So take a peek. Again, remember, these sectors, they're weighting in the indices and the stocks that are within these sectors and opportunities even to that level. In the meanwhile, feel free to check out the Countdown Trader, because the current update is one that I think is really timely, especially in an environment where traders are trying to speculate as to what the market is going to do. And that's just a perfect time to remind ourselves, and I do this for myself too. I read my own blog to remember to stay on path with what has worked for me for decades, and that is, trade what you see, okay? Not what you think. So check that out over at countdowntrader.com. Leave a like, leave a comment, heck, leave a dislike. Leave a comment, leave a question. We check them all. And again, I love seeing the discussion between everyone talking about, what this topic may be. Maybe you have stocks or ETFs that you think could be a buy the dip candidate. So leave them there. And if you have time in the morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, I'll see you at Charts and Coffee right here at the Simpler Trading YouTube channel. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, Subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.